Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can start. I've been tasked to run the program today, but I'm not sure whether I am the program director or the director of the program. I think I am becoming famous and becoming a celebrity because whoever saw my name on the program for this evening is greeting me, and which is a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, I am told that the starters is on the table, and then feel free because we are starting, and then you can also start with the starter. And feel free to eat everything, and then if possible, the plate next to you, and also do the same in order to do justice to avoid wasteful expenditure. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings to you all. Dumelang. Sanbonan. Molweni. Today it is a special day on our calendar as the UFS because it is the day whereby we are celebrating, and then we need to be in a celebratory mood because of the awards. Not everybody gets an award. Only few and chosen people, because of being excellent, they get awards. I don't even remember when last time did I get an award. I think it was in 1975 when I got the patrol certificate. You know, at the primary school, you'll have that stop and go. I was at the forefront holding that stop and go, and then I got an award for being distinct in terms of the stop and go. But for all those people who will be receiving awards, congratulations. Yesterday, Dr. Sibolao brought a young lady to my office, and then they showed me the academic record of that lady. She's doing a 4th year in humanities, and the lowest mark is 87. And the highest mark, it is 91. And then I looked at it, and then I said, I'm not impressed. And then the young lady looked at me, and then I said, but I don't see 100% here. And then that shows how we should be pushing our students, because I grew up in Harrismith, and then when I brought my report to my father and say, oh, you've got 40 out of 50, and then he'll ask, where is the 10? And that is the way we should be doing as an institution if we want to excel. And then this is a celebratory day also for CTL celebrating 10 years. It is a 10-year anniversary for CTL. Can we please clap in for? And in that 10 years, they have achieved a lot. Prof. Francois, good work. And then we are also looking for another 10 years from now. Then you have decided to put an albatross around your neck by having this 10 years. Then we are looking to another 10 years. And it is good that we are celebrating together these 10 years today. I was telling some of the colleagues and said, where are our students? Can't we have classes this time and wearing like this, and then they see us that we can excel also with the makeup. And then when Tiana called me this afternoon to come and have a look at the hall, I said, Tiana, I'm still busy with my nails. And then now she said, let me see your nails. I said, you disturbed me. That is why I did like this today. But welcome to all of you. And then when we are celebrating this excellence, I also want to take this opportunity on behalf of Dr. Van Staden to welcome the following people: Professor Francis Peterson, Director and Vice Chancellor; Dr. Mulapo Kobela, Vice Rector, Institutional Change, Strategic Partnership, and Societal Impact. It looks like a paragraph, the name of that. And I'll also to welcome Bill Moses, Managing Director, Education, the Keski Foundation, top management of the institution, the deans, the vice deans, and all distinguished guests. You are all welcome. And now it is time to start the real business by inviting Dr. Van Staden, the DVC academic, to come and address us. Dr. Van Staden, over to you.
Thank you, Professor Twala. Dumelang, Sanbonani. I'm still learning. Good evening. Goeienaand, colleagues and colleagues. This is indeed for me such a wonderful sight to see. I'm so glad COVID is over. I mean, look at us. And I remember the first Teaching and Learning Awards. We were sitting here spaced out, hardly touching, hardly communicating, with a little stage there. And then I started dreaming of this event, that we can celebrate who we are, what we've achieved, and how we came to be what we are today. And as the program director has indicated, yes, we are celebrating today a lot of things. Most of all, the existence of Center for Teaching and Learning, a 10-year existence that has a footprint established in a small beginning, but has grown to a national, mark my words, asset for the higher education system. It became recognized. People are asking the UFS now to do national projects, and that is who we are. We have become a big player within the system, and we are making our mark there and taking the lead in a lot of these projects. And through the evening, you will hear a lot of those projects like Siyapumelela. We need to give recognition to the team in CTL that made this happen. They are a collective, they are a strong team, but the way they are working, colleagues, for me is wonderful, because you don't find that kind of model in the higher education system, and that's the collaborative network that they created with the faculties. There's nowhere in any of the universities that I know of, and I know all 26 of them, that there's teaching and learning managers that are the link between the supportive center for teaching and learning and the faculties, and has the respect of the academics. And I'm talking about the teaching and learning managers, creating that network within the faculty, supporting you as academics to not only improve yourself, but to create a platform for our students to improve themselves. So the work that CTL has done has a great impact. And I thought, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say it, because it's a milestone in the history of the university. Because when I worked at the department, and I looked at the stats, and I thought, goodness, UFS, you are the lowest of the lowest. You've got 65% success rate. Lower than, I'm not going to mention the other universities. But look at where we are now. And I can tell you, if it was not for the collaborative work from CTL, working with academics, creating interventions, developing surveys to understand our students, to help our students, to guide our students, we would not have been now in this celebratory mood. Also, going forward, we know that research is going to be not our mantra, our focus. And also the recognition that we can give to our academics, specifically in terms of the teaching and learning, and specifically in the research component that they do for teaching and learning, needs also to be celebrated. I think that agenda has picked up. Our academics understand that they can inform their own teaching, they can inform their own pedagogical pedagogical approach, and therefore the research that they apply to what they do is amazing. And you will see also the conference papers and the winners in terms of that. For me, a very innovative award that we have created is recognizing the online capability, the innovation in teaching, the digitalization component that is also on our agenda going forward in the next few years. And it's a new award, and those role models that we are identifying and nominating and recognizing today is the ones why we are here also today. So it's also for me a celebration in terms of those academics. And Professor Twal is correct, not all of us are winners. But the fact that you have been part of the process in nomination and put your name in a hat and being assessed in terms of your teaching portfolio and being recognized, for me, that is already achievement. But we are looking also for the best of the best because we want to build this cadre of a university teacher that's really caring for our students, that are student-centered, that we can build on the Ubuntu principle that we have. For the Center of Teaching and Learning, it is also very important to create collaboration. And we have one of our biggest partners contributing to what we are doing, enabled us to be recognized. And he is our keynote speaker, and I'm not going to take the thunder from Professor Strydom, which will introduce our keynote speaker. But colleagues, from myself, thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in what we've built over 10 years, what we have become, and who we are. I thank you. Siyabonga.
On the one hand, we wanted to support students, but on the other hand, we had to empower our academics to teach the students in front of them. Well, I must admit it was absolutely a historical moment when we at last opened the doors of the Center for Teaching and Learning. I remember the struggle to find just the space to locate and host the center. At that point in time, the space was an issue at the University of the Free State. And we thought maybe the library is actually a good place.
CTL is the brainchild of Francois Strydom. Francois and I argue on unperfected things, but CTL was not my vision, it was Francois'. I think that what it is important is that for any DBC academic or teaching and learning, having CTL means having a right hand that you can rely on in order to implement the strategy. And that was, to a very large extent, what CTL was for me.
Let's celebrate the high-impact practices that they have deployed. And I want to mention a few. The first one is academic advising. UFS built on the model for the community colleges in the USA, but they have developed it to such extent and adapted it to the South African context that we utilize to advise our students together with the faculties and the student administrative services towards academic success. The second high-impact practice program that I want to share with you is the A-Step tutorial program. The success of that program has turned a lot of successes within our classroom because the classroom size is smaller, There's more student-centered approach. It is collaborative within and through the faculties. And because of its success, we've decided to utilize this program to implement translanguaging. The third high-impact practice that I want to talk about is the student surveys that we do annually. Those surveys are intended to engage with students, to understand what their challenges are, and to culture-made our type of responses and initiatives and interventions to their needs, so that we can support them right through their whole academic program while they are at the UFS. Another program that I really want to concentrate in is the ALLD. Now, what is that? That is a program where we assist our students in academic development and language literacy program. We know that only 7% of our students are English speaking. So the mother tongue of our students are totally different from each other. We are diverse. But through this program, we create a platform and opportunity for those students to engage in the language that is now their medium of instruction, which is English.
Well, I think that CTL has two very important elements in the work. The first one, without a doubt, is leadership. Of course, Francois as the director, but not just Francois, the top leadership of CTL and the manner in which leadership has been developed. And I think that that's a fundamental strength. And the other strength is the dedication and capacity to work that they have. There is never a no, or that cannot be done, or this is impossible. I think this is a fantastic combination, great leadership and great capacity to work.
What will I remember more? I think the quality of work that has been done through the Center of Teaching and Learning over many, many years. If you look at the publications, for instance, the student engagement research, student academic advising research, all of that were done in a scientific way.
The guidance that the CTL has provided to our academics to go in a time frame of about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, onto an online teaching modality was impressive. And through their dedication and hard work, we survived and we continued with the academic project, as well as helping and assisting our students, the most vulnerable students, to be part of the academic projects, specifically because we are online. And that is commendable, colleagues, because it does speak to the student-centeredness of our strategy for the learning and teaching component of this university.
I always believe that CTL Free State University Centre is the best. Maybe I'm a bit subjective if I say this, but I know the excellent work that is being done. Groundbreaking work when it comes to the transition from high school to university as well. And my message to you is carry on growing academics and scholars in the field of teaching and learning. Carry on to do evidence-based research and make sure that all your hard work is known by the university in South Africa and elsewhere. My best wishes go with all of you for the next decade, and I know that you will leave a big, big footprint. I'm extremely proud of you and to be associated with the Centre for Teaching and Learning at the University of the Free State.
The role of CTL will change in the future, and they're ready to change. Enhancing educational technology, implementing technology software, different teaching approaches, pedagogical approaches into the curriculum, into the class time with your students is important. And we've only started embarking now in preparing our university towards a blended and a hybrid online learning approach. So there's still a lot to learn, but I believe CTL is ready. They are mature in their capacity. the kind of relationship that they have with the faculties, are contributing to a collaborative approach where we support our faculties to enable them to deliver that type of graduate that we want.
So my wish for CTL is that they keep on growing and not just influencing the university, but influencing the country as they have started to do. So happy birthday, CTL.
So let's celebrate, colleagues, the achievements of CTL. And let's focus our attention on a bigger and brighter digital future for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us give them a round of applause again. And that is why, from the historians back, we say you can't divorce the past to the present. And hence, we looked back to the DVC's academics in the past and then taking us through this memory lane. I think this is commendable, and then it is important for us. People who are going to receive the awards, obviously they are successful. And then I usually say to people, success comes in cans, not in cans. If you say you can't, obviously you are not going to succeed. But some successful people are tall, and some successful people are short. Some successful people are thin, some successful people are fat. Some successful people are beautiful, and some successful people are the opposite of beauty. But they are still successful. Therefore, today we need to celebrate irrespective of the body physique. Ladies and gentlemen, there are photographers in this room, and then they'll be taking care of all photos. We don't want you to come back to us and say somebody took a photo and then what appeared there is not what you anticipated. Therefore, let us wait for professional ones to do the work. And then the photographers will also be taking photos to people receiving the awards. Please, I know that some people, they do have stage fright and they want to grab an award and go. Please wait for a minute or two and pose for a photo and take out your best smile. And that is important, and please do not forget that. And let me take this opportunity to invite Professor Strydom to come on stage in order for him to introduce our guest of honor. While Professor Strydom comes, we agreed together that we were not going to wear ties. And then I had my tie in the car. And then when I came in, I saw him with a tie. And then I quickly went back to my car and grabbed my tie. And then because I said to him during the week, I don't want to colonize my neck.
Good evening, everybody. What a wonderful privilege to be here with you. Before I introduce a very dear friend and colleague, we prepared something to tell you a little bit more about their impact as our friends and colleagues.
But it is to say that many students pursuing degrees or certificates have a barrier when they don't have good housing or have food or don't have good transit. They're not able to participate fully as students in the institutions. The other side of this is now 69% of all recent high school graduates, and we now have the highest high school graduation rates in our history, are now going on to college within 2 years.
So it's a wonderful privilege to introduce Bill William Moses from the Kresge Foundation. He is the Managing Director for the Education Program. Listen carefully, colleagues. He supports post-secondary access success for low-income, first-generation, underrepresented students. He is one of the only people that I know that came to Bloemfontein to meet us in 2011 already. He's the key architect of educational programming. He leads a team that does phenomenal work in the USA, but also internationally, looking at program strategy, developing ideas. This is the kind of man you want in your corner, sitting with you, helping you develop proposals, linking up to what Dr. van Staden said, that it's we. And Tate, I'm beyond being colonized, because my roots are so deep in us. So Bill served as the executive director at the Thomas J. Watson Foundation in Rhode Island. He was a senior analyst in investor responsibility research. He worked in Washington, D.C. He's got various administrative positions in the Alaska legislature. That's why he's enjoying the heat here so much. And then also he worked in the U.S. Embassy in Cape Town. Last week when we were in Joburg, he said that it's exactly 38 years ago that he came as a young man to South Africa. He's a graduate of Montclair McKenna College. He's got a master's degree from Yale. He's an author of a guide to the American state and local laws on South Africa, a co-author of Corporate Responsibility in a Changing South Africa. He's a co-chair of the Seven Foundations Partnership for Higher Education in Africa, serves on the steering committee of African Grantmakers Affinity Group, which he helped to co-fund. He also is a member of the National Advisory Board of the College Promise Campaign and a board member of APIA Scholars. In 2022, Bill was appointed to serve on President Joe Biden's Board of Advisors on historically black colleges and universities, with the aim of increasing the capacity of HBCUs to provide the highest quality education to students, and listen to this, continue serving, that they continue serving as an engine of opportunity. Bill, thank you for coming all the way. We can't wait to listen to you.
Well, first, I just want to thank Francois for those very kind comments. And I wanted to say, you're probably thinking, wow, he's on the President's Commission of Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And part of the reason I am is because when I was first in South Africa, I remember asking someone, I said, well, how can we help you with your struggle? And they said, you could fight racism in your own country. And it was a humbling experience, but it's something that I've tried to keep in mind. And it's a great privilege to work on behalf of historically black colleges and universities. They are disproportionate educators of African Americans in the United States and make a huge impact. In the same way, of course, that UFS makes a huge impact here in South Africa. First, I want to express my sincere thanks to, of course, Professor Twala, Francis, Francois, Angela, and everyone here at the Center for, I'm going to mess it up again, I always do this, Center for Teaching and Learning at UFS as a whole for their kindness and hospitality. I also want to thank everyone who put this event together. This is a very, very fancy event. I don't go to events like this very often. So this is really great. And I've done my fair share of planning events and conferences, and I know how much work goes into this, and how you probably slept at least 8 or 10 hours in the last 2 weeks. And so I just am so appreciative of everything that everyone has done for today. And everything really has been wonderful. But I'm not really here to thank UFS for its kindness and hospitality, although that's, I think, pretty famous. But I'm here really to thank UFS for its partnership, especially through the Center for Teaching and Learning, which in my view is probably the most sophisticated center of its type in South Africa, and really I think can stand among the most effective of any I know overseas as well. Yes, there are other great centers in the country, some that are older, but what Francois and his team, which includes so many of you in this room, have done is really so remarkable, and they're backed up by terrific board leadership, DVCs, VCs. It's just really wonderful to see that kind of work. And that's what really makes a difference. And UFS has been a critical partner for our own success and our own work in South Africa as we've sought to increase post-secondary throughput. We would say graduation, but I'll simultaneously translate to throughput, while trying to reduce equity gaps. Now, as many of you know, Kresge is predominantly a US foundation. In fact, if you are ever in the United States and listen to public radio, you may hear that we support opportunity for low-income people in America's cities. And I checked before I came in, and Bloemfontein is not an American city. So you're probably thinking, so what's the deal? And our first grant to South Africa actually built apparently, I was not around in those days, but the first purpose-built non-racial residence hall at UCT in 1989. In case you are wondering if you went to UCT, Leesbeck Hall on the Rondebosch Common, or over there by the Common. But we really started to see a lot more energy in about 2005-06, where we started to support advancement work, and that's including UFS eventually. And so this was designed to help your institutions raise private gifts from the enormous wealth of your country, from the corporations and from individuals and from foundations. So that really was what we do. But our most significant work really has been with Francois and the Center for Teaching and Learning. We first met in 2011, and through a connection through another foundation in America, the Lumina Foundation, through Sam Cargile. And then later in 2012, Francois came to Dallas to attend Achieving the Dream, which is the big conference DREAM, which is all about community college student success. Just curious, how many of you have been to DREAM? So, good, 15 or 20 people here. And it's often been really, really remarkable for people to be in a room, well, not a room, well, maybe once or twice, with 2,000 or 2,500 people who share your commitment to providing opportunity for students. And what we did was we started talking, and he said, that he wanted to start this survey of student engagement here in South Africa, and that we had already supported it in the United States. And so we were excited for him to sort of norm the SASE work, and he just was a great case maker for how important this work was to the university and how he was going to make it relevant, to contextualize it here for South Africa, and we made a small $190,000 planning grant to him. And all told, I think since Kresge has been engaged with UFS, we've made about $2.1 million worth of grants to promote student success and about $640,000 to promote advancement excellence here in South Africa and at UFS. Exchange rates have changed, but I just did the math on my phone. It's about 50 million rand over the last decade. And we couldn't have been more pleased with the results of these investments. What CTL did with our initial results was to decolonize the language and the perspectives of this US normed test so that it could really work to provide a better assessment of how students were feeling about their own educations here at UFS and more broadly across the country. It also developed its programmatic model and its business model, helping SASE to remain sustainable over the long term. At about the same time, we were developing Siyaphumelela, which, as we learned, means we succeed in Xhosa. And so the idea was, how would we make this work? And we knew this was a priority for South Africa. As I'm sure the VC and the DVC and many of the faculty know, by about 2010 or 15, the number of students attending varsity in this country had doubled to about 1 million. And that was great. You saw just all these new students getting degrees. The challenge, though, was the attainment rate, or what you'd call throughput rate, was pretty much the same as it had been in '94. So while more people were coming in, they weren't walking across the stage. And so we met with about 15 VCs at a hotel in Cape Town, and they said, what we need to focus on is getting more students across the stage, and of course with a quality degree. And that was great. And we were thrilled. We just had no idea how to do this. And with Francois' help, also with some former VCs, Max Price of UCT, Cheryl Delaray of University of Pretoria, who no longer serve in those positions, but they said, you should focus on big data because we don't know what to do. We don't know, everybody says everything works. And with limited money and limited internal politics, a VC or a DVC can't go after a tired and ineffectual program if there's no evidence that there's a better, newer, more effective program. And that's really what the data is meant to do. It's not data for data's sake, it's data to inform decisions to ensure that more students succeed. And of course, it's built on a sort of a concept of transparency and data and sharing. And we wanted to hear from all the Siyaphumelela grantees, all of the universities, to hear what their problems were, and not just be a parade of successes, because although there may be successes, the evidence was that it wasn't succeeding all that much. In addition, we said we wanted SASE to be available to all universities in South Africa, which we thought would help norm certain standards. And then we required our grantees to subscribe to it because we wanted to create demand for SASE locally so that when UCT talks to DUT, they can say, well, we were looking at SASE on page 7 in the second, they could go through their reports and really compare notes and not sit there and talk past one another. And so it was really a critical part. So we had webinars and we take 20 to 30 people to the United States every year to go to DREAM. We have a Siyaphumelela conference. But in many ways, the cement of the work has been the SASE, because it was something that everyone shared and everyone did. Now, one of the things, too, that SASE did was it looked at student hunger. And it was one of the first surveys to do that, both in the United States and South Africa. Now basic needs are all over the place. People talk about basic needs. But at the time, there weren't people really asking about this. It was anecdotal in most institutions. And now you could start really getting a feel for it. And the outcome, of course, is that if a student is well fed, that doesn't guarantee success, but if they're not fed, they're almost assured of never succeeding. So it's been a critical way of analyzing the ingredients of what makes a student work. And what this does is create a common vocabulary for everyone, again, so that you're not going back and forth and misunderstanding each other. The other thing that emerged from these early days is, and something I really appreciated, was the way that Francois and CTL looked at everyone, and there was a sense of encouraging new scholars, new faculty, new researchers to take on this work. And that's really wonderful, and it's critically important if we want to continue this work. I'm looking at a couple of them actually right now that I've met over the years. And so, as this work has continued, Francois and the CTL have been critical thought partners, suggesting what we may have done better, which is a very diplomatic way of saying you didn't do that very well. Also, they've not stood on their laurels. They didn't just say, well, we did SASE. Isn't that great? And they turned, and as we heard earlier, they reached out to student success icons in the United States like Georgia State in Atlanta, how to figure out how to make systems work for universities. One of the things about Georgia State, probably everyone, well, a lot of people in this room know Georgia State, but they were sort of founded like Rao, actually. They were a university for working class, first generation white students to get college degrees. That was in the 60s. Of course, they changed over time, but they had terrible graduation rates, 25% graduation rates. And the answer was sort of, well, what can you do? But they said, if these students are good enough to admit, they're good enough to graduate. So our job, and we assume they didn't come here to fail. They came here to succeed. So our job is to help them succeed. So over about a 5 or 10 year period, they looked at evidence, they looked at data, and they said, we went from 25% to 60%, which is not as high as a lot of institutions, but in America is about the average. And then they said, they started looking at ideas, comparing notes, and they did this with success when their Pell Grant rates went down. That's like the National Student Senior Certificate, the NSFAS. They saw their SATs go down, like the National Senior Certificate, and they saw diversity increase and enrollment increase. And yet they were able to make these changes because it was about their institutional practices. Classroom is important, but it's also about creating an enabling environment for students to flourish. And so they've done this work, and they've really recognized that the classroom has challenges, but so do institutions. And how do we change institutions so that we can help students to really secure their degrees? And of course, their most famous innovation, one which really UFS has embraced and taken to a high art here in South Africa, is doing better student advising, which is to make sure that students don't make mistakes and don't quit prematurely when they think there's nowhere to go, when actually there are options. They work closely with Georgia State to take the best ideas and see how they might work here in South Africa. And it's funny, at first when we talked about this, people were saying, we don't have enough therapists. And we said, well, no, it's not about therapy, although we know mental health is a critical important issue right now in both countries. But it was really about professional advisors saying, you can take this other course. Did you know there's a tutoring session you can go to try to help students succeed? At this point, I'm looking at you, Francois. I think that just about all the Sia Phumelela grantees are doing some kind of advising, but you really were the tip of the spear. More recently, we were talking about mathematics. The CTL has looked at high failure rates in mathematics students. In the United States, about 45% of all American students go to community college, 2-year associate degrees and certificates and diplomas. 70% of those students end up taking a high-stakes test their first day on campus and finding out they're not good enough for college-level math or English. Only about 5 or 10% of those students ever go beyond remedial education. So do the math. That means about 35% of all the people who go to college in America don't have a chance of ever getting a degree. So a group of foundations have been working for a decade to try to fix this. And part of that work was the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching's work with Quantway Statway on changing what's now called Carnegie Math Pathways to create better ways for students who may not be well prepared in college to succeed. And part of it is that math is objective, but what you decide is important within math is entirely subjective. So they've said, why don't we focus on statistics, which is important to be in a democratic society and to make decisions. And let's talk about quantitative reasoning, and that maybe people who are in English don't need to know Algebra 2 or other more quantitative fields. Doesn't mean that other people shouldn't do it, but to sort of focus on what do they need to do their jobs well. And so it's been amazing. And I was excited to hear in the last week that UWC is now talking after it's been piloted here at UFS, I think in the business school, and maybe the School of Law? Well, it's in the business school at least. And so other universities are now saying, how can we get in on this? How can we learn more about how to support our students to get through math? And, you know, in fact, I'm thinking we may scale developmental math reform faster in South Africa than we do in the United States. But this partnership has really helped to reorient South Africa's commitment to higher education toward a decolonized and student-centered focused effort built on solid data and information. And we've been so pleased to see what's changed, and so much of it has been about this institution and the CTL. And it has, you know, I think it's improved graduation rates in general, and has, I think, reduced some equity gaps as well in certain categories. Now, we have great relationships with WITS and with UCT and UWC and NMU and DUT and others, but really UFS stands alone, and you should be so proud of the work that all of you are doing. Your success has made my job easier because I have to make the case back in Detroit, Michigan, that we should fund South Africa. When I can point to success that you've been doing, it makes my job easier, and of course, theoretically helps to catalyze your jobs to be easier too with some support. And it's when you have a great VC, a great DVC, a great internal leader, and a great team that you can really make huge change. And I think this work has really helped to put UFS on the map here in South Africa, but even internationally. And certainly at Achieving the Dream, Francois and his team are well known, and it's known as a place that really does great work. So I just had a couple of reflections, though. I know this is not an easy time in South Africa, but I'd like to remind you of a couple of things. As was said earlier, I came to South Africa in the 1980s, and nobody believed that something like this would be occurring someday in South Africa, right? It was like, well, it's going to be terrible, it's never going to work out. But it's a flourishing democracy. It has challenges, but I know another country that's a democracy that has challenges too. I won't mention that, but you know, it's a constant struggle to keep a democracy, as we have all learned in the last couple of years. But what you have accomplished really is so remarkable. And don't forget that. As a society, it's really so remarkable. And in your own domain, in learning and teaching and student success, you have proven that things can change, and you can really change the trajectory of an institution and affect a nation, and to support everyone. And you are South Africa's flagship of student success, I believe. So Dr. Peterson said earlier today at lunch that we have a relationship of hope, and I agree. But I would also say this relationship of trust. We know that you are doing amazing work and that you can continue to do it, whether or not we're in the picture or whatever should ever happen with our work. We know you are doing amazing work. Our money may be catalytic, but it's your hard work and vision that gets things done. So as President Mandela said, you know, it always seems impossible until it's done, and you've proven that you can get things done even under the most difficult of circumstances. And when South Africans really focus their mind on fixing things, they can achieve miracles, and we know that. And you and your colleagues prove this every day with the miracles you do. So thank you, and happy 10th birthday. So I obviously was not listening to the instructions.
Thank you very much, our guest speaker, Mr. Moses, for the powerful message you're leaving us with. But when I was seated there, when you said people to raise their hands about dream and having visited a dream, I was wondering, how do you know that I dreamt that you were going to give us more millions? Then when I was listening to you unpacking everything,
You're having a dream.
yes, I had that dream, and then I said to myself, you know, you need to read between the lines. You don't want to reveal the figures. But when reading between the lines, I could see and I could hear that the figures are so huge for UFS. And thank you for that. We thank you in anticipation of the big figures. Colleagues, I hope the starters are starting. But I can see in other tables, I can see the starters. We want to move into something serious. Please, if you don't eat, raise your hand for the kitchen to pick it up, because we don't want to stall the progress of eating something that is serious. Let me take this opportunity to call upon Professor Peterson to hand over a token of appreciation to our guest speaker. And then you know, Mr. Moses, that in South Africa, you need to declare whatever you receive.
I need to go to the red zone.
This is just something as a token of appreciation from the University of the Free State for the wonderful work that Bill has been doing with our university, but also for the sector. And for Chita, for the more wonderful work that he will be doing with the university. And I really could call Bill a friend of the University of the Free State and a friend of South Africa. Bill, you're close to our hearts. Congratulations. Don't drive it. I think you could probably leave it there. But you want to have a photograph?
Oh. One more chance to drop. Thank you. Yeah, this thing. It goes over 20 kilograms.
Well, the goals of the Faculty of Education are rooted in our core values of community, ownership, care, and excellence, with the specific aim of educating the best teachers and researchers for the country and the world. The Center for Teaching and Learning has provided solid and well-researched support in these endeavors through a range of products linked to academic success for both staff and students.
All the initiatives from CTL are supportive of the academic project in us. The following CTL initiatives and actions provide a framework and a safety net for the faculty to perform. Their innovative vision and commitment to high-quality learning and teaching, their unique approach to enhance student success and graduate employability, their commitment and approach to address the current learning and teaching challenges that the 21st century demands, especially in a South African context.
For the years the Faculty of Theology and Religion has worked with CTL, it has been nothing but supportive and a leader the faculty could count on in innovative thinking, effective leadership, adaptability, and setting realistic goals. The staff are always warm and ready to assist the academic staff with development, student support, and the much-needed data to assist the faculty in decision-making. Be it from #FeesMustFall to COVID-19, they have been available to help the faculty navigate in turbulent times and make the necessary adjustments to ensure our teaching quality was not compromised and student success was possible. CTL is innovative, reliable, and caring, a combination you rarely get in successful organizations, but they do all three so well.
CTL is always at the forefront, the pioneers in developing new strategies, policies, guidelines to get a balance between student success and lecturer ability. They are actually the tone setters. All their strategies and actions are informed by high-quality data analytics. For that reason, they can really contribute to the faculty's goals in terms of an academic project and academic success.
CTL and the initiatives from CTL really creates an enabling environment to equip faculties and academics to, well, do our jobs well.
Ample support to students is provided by units within CTL, such as the Unit for Literacy Development and the more recent campaign for improving digital literacy. All these examples indicate the impetus of CTL on the teaching and learning landscape at the UFS. We are indeed very fortunate to have such a powerhouse of humane experts to inform our core business, which is the academic project.
The tutorial support provided to students through A-STEP is commendable. It empowers students with regard to learning and also empowers tutors in relation to facilitation and leadership skills, as well as research abilities. And I think through A-STEP, we are growing our own timber, and this is done with excellence from CTL.
The Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences implements the Carnegie Math Pathways program. This is a program aimed at developing the quantitative skills of our first-year students. CTL is a key partner of the EMS faculty in these modules, both in terms of the presentation of these modules as well as in the research in these modules.
Staff and students have to navigate previously unexplored territory in the higher education environment. CTL serves as a beacon on their journey. It provides answers to uncertain questions. It provides guidance on solving unprecedented challenges. It provides support in more ways than one when needed.
For staff members, CTL plays a very important role in mentoring and nurturing or just taking us by hand as new managers, as well as newly appointed staff members. CTL provides that in inducting us into Blackboard and inducting us in various platforms.
CTL, through their academic leadership program, have offered high-level training to young and inexperienced academic heads of departments.
I was more excited when CTL established an institutional SOTL fellowship program, because now our faculty SOTL project can feed into the fellowship program as our participants are empowered at faculty level on what SOTL entails before they can participate at institutional level. I appreciate this greatly because it contributes to our aspired value of excellence as a faculty and as an institution.
Much of our success as an academic institution should be attributed to the excellent support provided by the Center for Teaching and Learning to staff and students alike.
Instead of talking about CTL as an organization, I want to talk about the people who make up the collective. And they embody the values of professionalism, passion, and positivity.
Efficient, data-driven, professional.
Enabling, consistent, and leading.
Hashtag online learning, hashtag digital learning, and hashtag digital entrepreneurship.
The champions of innovation, share their knowledge, do an extra mile.
Supportive, engaging, and omnipresent.
As the Faculty of Theology and Religion, we want to take this opportunity to thank CTL for its consistent and continuous support. Through different seasons and ever-changing higher education trajectories, they've been a loyal guide in assisting the faculty with training, research, and dependable data to support faculty decisions where teaching and learning are concerned.
CTL, in the past 10 years, your footprint was deep and meaningful. But my wish for you is that for the future, your footprint would be more intended, more innovative, and deeper. But most important, that it will be more impactful for the university.
May the reflections of the last 10 years bring you nothing but the confidence and pride for everything you have achieved. And may the next 10 years lead you to greater heights of leadership, not just in Africa, but worldwide. CTL, yours is just beginning.
I want to end with a quote by John Dewey, an American philosopher, who said, If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. Thank you, Prof. Strydom and the CTL staff for taking that care.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the South Campus Chamber Choir. We are going to present 2 in 4. The first song that we're going to present to you, it's Mulimele Shangwe. It's a greeting song. It's in Namibian language, the language that you find somewhere in the northern part of Namibia, Lude Reeds and that area. And the second song that we're going to perform, it's a hymn. We are saying, Viva, we salute this journey of 10 years. It's a hymn that was composed in 1800s for the Methodist congregation. But we are going to sing it in Sixhosa, Masibulele Kuyeso. It's a thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for the journey that we have traveled. It's in 3 verses. When we sing the last verse, and when we do the Amen in the last verse, you will hear that it's a combination of the Western influences and the indigenous influences in Ngoma Busuku, when men sing at night, early hours of the night, enjoying that yogurt, the homemade yogurt, early hours of the morning. And we hope you'll enjoy the music.
Somewhere,
Ladies and gentlemen, our next renditions, we are now doing More Africa. It's an arrangement by our colleague, Dr. Sonkanise Nkosi. It's an indigenous arrangement, and he's a Zulu, but surprisingly so, he wrote this piece in Sesotho. It shows that, Prof. Peterson, we are one nation, dark or blue, we are a rainbow nation. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy it. And then after Africa, hey, we're going to render a religious revival song in 3 languages. It will be in Nguni, and it will be in Sesotho, then we'll do it in another Namibian language. It's all about Lord have mercy upon us. We thank him for his mercies. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the music.
Wem Afrika, Wem Afrika, kaubuye ubuyele muntwini bakho. Wem Afrika, Wem Afrika, kaubuye ubuyele muntwini bakho. Wem Afrika, Wem Afrika, kaubuye ubuyele muntwini bakho. Wem Afrika, Wem
performance, we say, best of luck, sweet dreams, and enjoy the breakfast tomorrow morning. As energetic as nothing. Thank you very much. This is typical African. I belong to both worlds, the African world and the Western world. The tempered pitch and the acoustic pitch. Dr. Fredet, you will understand that. It just comes automatically. So when we pitch, and we enjoy when we rise in pitch. Every phrase should rise, and should rise and rise. Then you know that we have arrived. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much to Mr. Bonisile Gcisa and your choir from South Campus. While seated there, I said I needed to go and dust off my Sunday jacket and go and do Noyana Noyana. Thank you, Mr. Gcisa. And some 10 years ago, we drove with Mr. Gcisa to the Eastern Free State doing research on the sacred sites, tapping into music as well as underlying political music on the sites. And then while driving to the Eastern Free State, I was the one driving, and then he was seated next to me, and then I was singing a gospel song. And he said to me, who was your music teacher? And then I told him, and then he said to me, I think it is better for you to go back and get your money back from that teacher. And I can assure you that I thought I was on top of my game. And when listening to them also, it reminded me of my school choir in Standard 5. We practiced for 2 months, and then the Thursday before the Saturday, the competitions were to be held in Bellefontaine. And then our music teacher now, surprisingly so, started listening to us one by one. And then came to me and listened and said, Twala, I think we'll call you back. And then that was how I was offloaded and dismissed from the choir before the competition. But thank you very much. Colleagues, we are doing well in terms of time. I don't want you to starve because Bonisela talked about the homemade yogurt, which is umkomboti. Then we wanted to finish off quickly in order to have our Western umkomboti, which is wine. I could see from this table, I'm just looking at my colleagues drinking, and they said to me, not now. Dr. Russell, when I touched the bottle, he said, not now. And then I'm patient, my time will come. Let me call Professor Peterson, who will share the strategic perspective on the importance of learning and teaching at UFS. And thereafter, he will also announce the winner of the Vice Chancellor's Award, and then will be joined by Professor Stradom. Immediately thereafter, colleagues, we are going to have our dinner, and music will be there. And then the bottles of wines are still there. If the bottle is empty, raise up your hand. I paid a lot for this. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, teacher. I'm going to start off by, I think we should just put our hands together, not for Tito, he hasn't completed his job yet, but for CTL, for this 10-year celebration. Well done. So I've been asked to talk a little bit about some strategic imperatives that the University of the Free State Teaching and Learning foundation or strategy or plans will take the university forward. So I had to think deeply because we're in the midst of finalizing our Vision 130, and in the 130 Vision Bill, the focus is really to project and reposition the university much more outward looking. And the two key areas or two key stress points or pressure points is that of visibility and impact. And what I've seen up till now in the program is exactly that. So Dr. Mulapu, we should probably pack away the Vision 130 and go home because it's already there. But let me just share some thoughts that I have, and there's probably 5 points that I want to share with you in relation to how I see strategic imperatives playing out in the space of teaching and learning, and how that would support the university and support Vision 130 by implication. Now, I want to start off by saying that 19.5% of school leavers, is in fact more than school leavers, of students in the age group or people or young people in the age group of between 18 and 25, only 19.5% access higher education in South Africa. The National Development Plan suggested that by 2030, that number should be about 30%. Now, I don't think we're going to get there necessarily unless we think differently. But in relation to the University of the Free State, because that was my task, my vision and view is not necessarily to focus primarily on creating greater access for the institution to have more students coming in, but rather to focus on efficiency and effectiveness of what we are currently doing. So we need to, and Teaching and Learning, Center for Teaching and Learning, and the faculties are already doing that, but we need to try to understand what are those efficiency drivers? What are those effectiveness factors that we need to focus on and zoom in to be able to, you can either increase the number and be not that effective, or you could sort of work where you are and be much more effective and efficient and probably can create a greater output, linked to what Bill has said. I'm not talking about the system in totality, I'm talking about the University of the Free State. So I'm trying to align that with our Vision 130. So effectiveness and efficiency in the context of teaching and learning is for me quite important. The second one is in fact linked to that. And we talked a lot about student success. And in my meeting with Bill this afternoon, we were talking about should there be continued support, financial support, either from Kresge Foundation or other foundations or other industries or organizations to student success? Or have we really understood and understand student success, the drivers for student success? I believe that if you look at the University of the Free State, if you look at South Africa, most of our students that we attract are first-generation students. And first-generation students, for us, the focus for the last couple of years on student success has been underwritten by a narrative of student success is a social justice imperative. And that's the reason why that is the number one goal in our current strategy, student success. So we need, from a social justice perspective, a fairness perspective, what is the right thing to do is that if we have students that are coming into our university, they're not coming here, as Bill have indicated, to fail. They're coming here to make a success. But more so, as a first-generation student, they want to get a qualification that is of quality and have great and good content so that they can use that qualification to enter the job market, so that they can also contribute back to their families. So for me, the work on student success will continue. And it will have to be, and I think Elsemarie in the faculty voices have indicated that we should deepen the understanding of student success. And therefore, that needs to continue. We've got a full understanding of what it should be, but we should now also say, well, how can we deepen that? And that brings me to the third aspect. And that is to deepen student success, you have to understand the interrelationship between different components. You have to understand the trends in data, the evidence that you collected. You also have to understand other areas that might impact student success in outside the university. And that understanding, why is that crucial? It is crucial because I think the next expectation that I would like to see is that how do we individualize the experience of the student? And to do that, you need to understand the student. You need to understand the student holistically. And I was quite impressed by our Dean of the Faculty of Natural Cultural Sciences. He was the one that referred to a quote, but he also would put a lot of effort in to work on precision agriculture. We would look at health sciences faculty where we're looking at individual health care. I want to see how do you individualize that understanding at a student success level. Now you can only do that if you start to use that information, the understanding of student success, the interrelationship, digitalize that, understand what it means, and then try to scale it. So the holistic understanding means that you need to know where your students come from. You need to understand how they enter the university. They need to understand the student success. You need to understand where they go once they complete. So it's employability. And that is the work that I think we need to build on at the next level. My fourth point is a point that is encapsulated in our vision already, and it will also be encapsulated in our Vision 130. And we aspire to be a research-led university. What does it actually mean? It means that there is parity between research and teaching and learning. And they should actually reinforce one another. So for me, that research-led teaching and learning, because I'm going to use that word now, is something that we need to unpack and understand a little bit better than what we have now. It's not a binary between teaching and learning and research. It's how do we reinforce that? And how do we utilize the research nature of where our institution is going to benefit more the teaching and learning, the scholarship of teaching and learning, but also understandings of teaching and learning. And the final point, because I know I stand between you and your main course, is a word that I picked up in a initiative that we put together a few years ago, which is called Student Success Collaborative Initiative or Forum, where we engage with a lot of foundations and industry and in fact that's an initiative that also started through the University of the Free State, which is now embedded in USAF, University of South Africa, for all the 26 universities. It's a word that they called collaborative impact. It's not only about measure and then learn and continuously improve the quality. It is about how do you leverage the system of practitioners, of funders, of researchers into a partnership forum that give a better understanding of teaching and learning and student success. And I do believe that is one area, we can probably call it collaboration. I think it's more than that. I think it's more than co-creation as well. It's how do you start to pull those partnerships together. Kresge Foundation, Foundation X and Y and Z. The universities in South Africa, universities in the States and elsewhere. Industry that also have information. Funding models. Bill mentioned earlier that if you haven't got funding money to buy a meal, that impact teaching and learning. But how do you optimize funding model? Because if you suboptimally provide funding to a meal, that's not going to help either. So how do you actually make sure that you optimally do that? And that collaborative impact means that we need to be open to engage. And I think that level of engagement would come in different ways. But if I talk about strategic imperatives for me, then I think that's one area that we collectively have to work together. So with that 5 areas that I want to share, again, Francois, to you and your team, It's been wonderful for the short period that I've been here, probably 5 years of the 10 years. It has been fantastic to talk about CTL at the platforms where I've been, and to also challenge one another, because I think that's important. But for the leadership that you have shown, and for the leadership within the center, and for the fact that you develop, in fact, there's probably a couple that could take over from you. If Bill take you to the States or somebody else steal you. But that's a succession that you have built, and we're all proud of you and the team. And I have got, I've in fact, when I started here, I said to Francois, as we have centers of excellence in the research environment, I wanted to see to what extent we can also work towards a center of excellence in teaching and learning. And I think to a certain extent we're already there, but if we strategize that in the right way, our impact that we're going to have in South Africa, and don't forget the continent, because I will be participating the end of the month in a conference with agricultural universities on the continent, and the whole idea is really about research-led teaching. And so there's a lot of opportunities there as well. So thank you very much, and again, Francois and the team, thank you very much and congratulations.
Colleagues, we're doing well on time, so I'm going to take just 30 seconds to say something. Having the leadership that one has to do your work in place is a very rare thing. The more of your hair you lose, the more you realize that. And yeah, Philippe, don't look at me, you've got all your hair. I do think we have been extremely blessed, and I think Bill will forgive me in the leadership that we have had. We've had some of them on display, but I think it's Evodia that's made the statement once, do you realize how much needs to happen for you to be able to do your work? And I want to say to you and Dr. Engela and top management, but especially to you and to the deans, we realize that every single day. So thank you for that. Before I get emotional, because I tend to do that, the VC Award, what a wonderful year it's been. 9 applications, a record, Dr. van Staden, testimony to your leadership. The parity, Philippe can help me, and Prof. Heidi, I don't think I've ever heard the parity word between learning and teaching and research articulated with such boldness. So it was hard to choose. The award is very prestigious. It is for all-round excellence in the field of learning and teaching. And we had some deeply, deeply impressive people this year, and it was very, very hard. But as Prof. Twala said, we have to push each other. So it's my great pleasure to first announce the second place winner, which is Professor Hanneke Brits from School of Health Science. Well done. And then our first place winner is also from the Faculty of Health Sciences in Bloemfontein. And believe you me, it was close. Professor Corlia Jansen van der Dijk. That's it.
CTL has supported me by giving me room for growth and exposure.
The CTL has helped me achieve my academic goals by providing me with information about resources that are available on campus that would help me achieve in my academics.
You see, much of what CTL does actually, in terms of me personally, they've assisted me a lot in terms of my transition from high school to university.
All right, so CTL has had a huge impact on my life. Being a student that moved from Johannesburg to Bloem, not knowing absolutely anyone. Varsity was a very, very scary place for me. I remember going into my first class in Kopanom. There was thousands of students there and I was very overwhelmed. And from that journey onwards, I was introduced to a peer advisor that helped me on my journey with my academic success. And from a peer advisor, I went on to an academic advisor, which helped me with my time management, my focus within a varsity setting. Being a student that was the first time staying alone, I needed that focus, I needed that time management, and that played a huge impact on me.
The Center for Teaching and Learning has assisted me in achieving my academic goals by providing consultation sessions.
The Academic Student Tutorial and Excellence Program, also known as ASTEP, is part of CTL. So I have been a tutor for 3 years for medical physics, giving third-year module tutorials. This has helped me to overcome my fear of public speaking, which really helps in my field in terms of research.
For me, the CTL played a pivotal role in my academic success as such, because there was a point, obviously, as a student where I was unable to cope with my academic stuff. However, reaching out to the CTL, booking for appointments, booking for slots, and asking for help was a turning point for me.
Pointing me in the right direction when I needed help in terms of my tutors and in terms of my lecturers, like which lecturer to go to when I need help and when I need like mental support as well, like which faculties to visit.
I think CTL gives a lot of exposure to the students.
So it helps the UFS to make sure that it achieves its mission of producing knowledgeable graduates and competitive graduates.
I think part of what CTL does is to ensure that the work that we do here in the UFS is credible, it has integrity, and it gets the respect that it deserves across other institutions.
When I think of CTL, I think of empowerment. I think the role that they play very well is empower students.
That the institution is very well determined towards providing quality education to students.
So they all give us equal opportunities to become the person that we want to be.
picture of the university is being painted beautifully out there for everybody to see that University of the Free State is the university to go to, simply because of the help that the CTL gives to the students.
CTL is bridging that gap between the student and the lecturer in terms of like advising the students on what to prioritize in terms of their academics and their personal life.
Innovation, collaboration or teamwork, I believe that they're the same. And lastly, respect.
Student engagement, student success, and quality learning.
I would say it's success, access, and change.
I think the first word is definitely innovative/creative. The second one is definitely patience. And the last one is definitely, let's say, confident.
Innovation, respect, and integrity.
So the first word for me is equality. The second word for me is innovative. And then the last word is successful.
Accessibility, fairness, and worthiness.
CTL inspires, motivates, and supports students to excel.
Ladies and gentlemen, while you are continuing with your dinner, in the interest of time also, we need also to continue with our program. And let me take this opportunity to thank the Henry Klategan group, which just performed when we had our dinner. Somebody said to me outside, when last did you see something for the first time? When last did you see something for the first time? I said, I'm seeing something for the first time which I saw last. Which is what is happening today over a period of some couple of years without meeting together. Colleagues, now it is the moment we have been waiting for, whereby we are going to have the announcements of the rest of the Learning and Teaching Awards. And let me call Dr. Van Staden, DVC Academics, to the stage for the handing over of the awards. And please, colleagues, note that the photographer will take some photos with your best smile. Thank you very much, Dr. Van Staden. Thank you, Evodia. Over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to announce the awards in the category of Innovation in Curriculum Development. Now, under these awards, there were 4 subcategories, and I will start with the first subcategory, and this is the Innovating My Curriculum Through Assessment. Now, the purpose of the category was to showcase assessment strategies, tools, and assessment activities that were used as part of assessing students in a new, original, or inventive manner. Now, help me to congratulate our second place winner in absentia, Prof. Oleule Sibulai from Faculty of Natural Agricultural Science, Bloemfontein campus. Ladies and gentlemen, and the winner under this category is Dr. Michael von Maltitz from Faculty Natural Agricultural Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Dr. Van Staden, it looks like our winners tonight could not make it, and we'll take the picture. Now, the second category is innovating my curriculum through a redesign or renewal of my module. Now, in this category, papers were delivered by academics who were involved in innovative curriculum, program or module design to address transformation issues, decolonization, environmental or contextual issues. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to congratulate our second place winner, Professor Elisa LaRue, who could unfortunately not be here tonight due to an injury. Professor LaRue is from the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences on the Kutata campus. And the winner under this category for tonight is Dion van Niekerk, Faculty of Humanities, Bloemfontein campus.
Your winners are not here.
Where are the winners tonight? I think it is my moment to shine tonight, and the winners decided not to come. Now, I hope the third category has winners, and the stage was just not made for me and you, Dr. Van Staden. Now, the third category, innovating my curriculum through student engagement and or motivation. Now, the purpose of this category was to show how academics create environments that support student success for all students. Our second place winner, congratulations to Anine Church, Center for Teaching and Learning, Bloemfontein campus. Congratulations, Anine, and thank you for showing up. Ladies and gentlemen, our winners in this category, Kobus Sanepoel, Professor Kobus Rousseau, Almarie Goodchild, and Professor Alita Kukamur, Faculty Economic and Management Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the fourth subcategory, innovating my curriculum through the use of technology and/or online tools. The purpose of this category was the meaningful integration of information and communication technologies to support learning and teaching through online and blended learning practices. Now, let's give a warm congratulatory applause to our second place winner, Dr. Sean van der Merwe, Faculty of Natural Sciences and Agricultural Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Now, those of you who do not know, I know Dr. Sean teaches a code called, or software called R, and he R'd the students in this category. Congratulations. And the winners in this category, Benny Bueta and Dr. Lisa Miriugu van Dijk, Faculty of Health Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Congratulations.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sonia Lewitz, and tonight I'll be presenting the Research in Learning and Teaching Awards. So, as part of the promotion of scholarly teaching and the scholarship of teaching and learning at the UFS, the following awards acknowledge valuable contributions that academics have made towards research within the field of learning and teaching in their discipline. There are two subcategories for this section. First category is research in learning and teaching in the emerging scholars. So in this category, entrants presented one accepted or already published article, a book or chapter, or a full conference paper within any of the four innovation and curriculum development categories. The second place winner is Dr. Ruth Wario from the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences on the Kwakwa campus. Oh, it's yours. Congratulations. And our winner, and arguably one of the better dressed people tonight, Hardio Motau, from the Faculty of Education on the Kwakwa campus. Our second category is Research in Learning and Teaching in the advanced category. So this category, entrants submitted a portfolio of evidence of research in learning and teaching with examples of published articles, books, chapter or full conference papers with any of the 4 innovation and curriculum development categories. This year we don't have a second place as we have shared winners. And our shared winners are Professor Brunilde Nene from the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences on the Bloemfontein campus, and Dr. Maria Tsakeni from the Faculty of Education from the Bloemfontein campus.
Did I move it right? Good evening, colleagues. I have the privilege this evening to announce the winners in the best conference papers. So, what happened there? So, for both the Kwakwa and the Bloemfontein campus, the conference presentations were scored via live reviews. So this meant during the conference we had live reviewers that were scoring each of the presenters. And tonight I have the privilege of announcing both the Bloemfontein and the Kutata campus award winners. Within the winners for the Best Innovation in Curriculum Development conference papers, we have for the Kutata campus, in absentia, Prof. Eliza Leroux, who delivered a paper titled Not Another Flipping Disruption, Using Backward Design to Create a Flexible, Responsible Classroom. Well done to Prof. Eliza. And for the Kutata campus, for the Bloemfontein campus, my sincerest apology, we also have a colleague in the Faculty of the Natural and Agricultural Sciences, and our winner for the Bloemfontein campus is Dr. Michael van Maltitz, and he delivered a paper titled Encouraging Significant Learning in Mathematical Statistics Through Portfolios of Learning Evidence and Interview Assessments. Well done to both of them. Can I be naughty and ask Dr. Sean to collect both their prizes, please? Thank you. Thank you. You can tell them you took the photo on their behalf.
Yes. Sorry, Michael had a family emergency. He's very sad he can't be here.
We're thinking about them. Thank you.
Good evening, colleagues. I'm Eleanor Bernard, and I'm from CTL on the Kwakwa campus, and I'm here to... break the microphone, it seems. Luckily, there's a tech-savvy assistant on stage. The departmental awards for today. The departmental awards are presented to the department who showed the greatest commitment and involvement in learning and teaching through various activities and practices. Department submitted a comprehensive portfolio of their collective contributions to improve learning and teaching in the department, and one winner for each campus was selected. The winners for the Bloemfontein campus, School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences, Faculty of Health Sciences, Prof. Corlia Janse van Vieren, and your team, you can come and collect your award. And for the Kwakwa campus, the Department of Curriculum Studies and Higher Education, Faculty of Education, Hario and Lulama Mdudane Zide, who is not here tonight.
It's your night tonight, no?
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nomalungelo Ngubane. I'm from the Academy for Multilingualism. I'm here to announce winners of the Kutata Awards. Let me give a short background of the Kutata Awards. The Kutata project, led by Dr. Piet van Aert, was started in 2019 to give recognition to the important pedagogical relationships between the staff and the students. Kutata means to inspire in Sesotho. Students are invited to write about the lecturer and how they have inspired the student. After receiving the students' submissions, lecturers are then asked to respond to the submission. These writings are published in a booklet that everyone received as a gift tonight. It is also published on the website, on the UFU website. So the following lecturers were recognized by students for their inspiration and support during 2022. So colleagues, I will first call a lecturer, and then I will announce a student that nominated him or her. Dr. Lerato Sekonyela, Faculty of Humanities, South Campus. Nominated by Nompilo Kumete. Ntepoiseng Shakota, Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences, Kwakwa Campus. Nominated by Lebo Ndlala. Dr. Edson Venjasai, Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Kolisile Sithole. Dr. Piet van Aert, CTL, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated M. Paganifa Diapi. Sorry. Dr. Ronel Janssen, Faculty of Health Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Mpumelelo Zwane. Dr. Joe Mari Visser, Faculty of Law, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Constant Holloway. Professor Bradley Smith, Faculty of Law, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Mugelisiwe Hadebe. Okay, Dr. Maretha Duplessis, Faculty of Natural Science and Agricultural Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Cesar Nokolo Mabaso. Professor Forge Henry Tevet, Faculty of Natural Science and Agricultural Sciences, Bloemfontein campus. Nominated by Tlabi Chiwene. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
It is almost impossible to speak of transformative pedagogies without referring to humanizing teaching and learning approaches. Teaching that truly inspires and the one that transforms and empowers students does not only come from good teaching strategies and a perfect curriculum, but it is the pedagogy that is anchored in the acts of humanity, such as caring, sympathy, kindness, inclusiveness, and social justice. A humanizing pedagogy creates learning spaces that affirms, validates, and treats all students as dignified human beings with the potential to thrive and succeed. Teachers' kindness, sympathy, and love for teaching inspire students to persevere in times of academic challenges. It pushes and motivates them to try again and again in times of adversity. It is often the teacher's love for students and teachers' caring acts that restore students' self-esteem, ignites their sense of pride, and inspire them towards academic excellence. Through the Kutata project and the Center for Teaching and Learning, we look forward to reading stories of excellent teaching as the students acknowledge and appreciate teachers that go beyond the normal calling to create excellent teaching and learning spaces within a humanizing learning environment.
I think growth, that's the one word that I think came to mind when you asked like my birthday wish for CTL would be growth.
My birthday wish for CTL is for it to continue to grow and prosper.
Continuing to mold young individuals into the best that they can be. Because I have the freedom to try new things.
You are directly helping students, especially for where we work in AAS. So you help students with their academics, but we won't like ignore the fact that there's nice food, like honestly speaking.
Regarding working with CTL is the culture, meeting different people from different backgrounds.
Seeing my work that I contribute to making impact to the students' journey in whatever their courses they are studying.
Innovative and hardworking team to be on the whole. I'm talking about the whole of CTL now.
I mean, there's many roles that it does have within the institution. However, I would say that it mainly supports the institution to support students.
I would say that's the place where every student comes to, and the faculties as well in any other department when they want a solution to, one, support the students properly, but also to show
the lecturers as well as the faculties how to properly make sure that the students become successful in what they do.
We are the bridge for students to make their own dreams come true.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are well. Most of you guys might know me as Lagato Mokati, but tonight I'll be Ocean Ndoni. I came to serenade you guys with a few songs. My set is going to be short, but it's going to be sweet. I know that we are serving desserts now, so we're gonna just sweeten up your palates a little bit and hope that you enjoy the set. There's a music in the air, it makes your sorrow grow. Let the music take you there, far from the world you know. You can feel it when I say, then you know love. There's a joy in everything, all made for love. If ever someday you come to meet a soul, I'll show you where your heart can come along. And I can feel it when you say, then you know love. There's a joy in everything, all made for love. Look for love in the music, lost in the melody. Find love. Look for love in the music, lost in the melody. You'll find love. If you know the song, you can groove with me. Music in the air, music in the air. Music in the air, music in the air. Oh, music in the air, music in the air. Music in the air, if you know the following songs, please kindly sing along. Awini, my love, ndiyakukhumbula. Oh, uyangihlanyisa, soloko ndicinga ngawe. Uthe uzobuya nini? Ndonwaba ukhona, ndonwaba ukhona, mina ngiyazifela ngawe. Cela ubuye, sengasifela buya. Phakathi lami ngawuphilile nawe na. Kunini ndikhumbule, wenze ingqondo yami izulele. Waze wakude, sibuya nini ndikubone. Phakathi lami ngawuphilile nawe na. Kunini ndikhumbule, wenze ingqondo yami izulele. Waze wakude, sibuya nini ndikubone. 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 Beke, ngeke, ubuzubambi. Uthatha ngibeke, ngeke, ubudlowami ndabona budibeke. Kaluba beke, zithele, ubaqala ungayeke bangene. Khathi ndikusete, 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 ndikusete. Uthando lwakho lundenza ngishelele. Thatha undibeke, ngeke, ebangene luthando luthele. Kaluba beke, zithele, uzithele ungayeke bangene. Khathi ndikusete, 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 ndikusete. Uthando lwakho lundenza ngishelele. Uthatha ngibeke, ngeke, ebangene luthando luthele. Kaluba beke, zithele, ubaqala ungayeke bangene. Khathi ndikusete, 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 ndikusete. Uthando lwakho lundenza ngishelele. Okay. So this is my last song. This is my very own song. I hope most of you guys know the song. But now I'm gonna need your help. I do not have backing vocalists, but I have a room full of academics. Okay? So I'm going to ask you guys to sing the chorus with me. Okay? So what you're going to say, when I do this, this means chorus, okay? When I do this, you guys are going to sing the chorus, okay? It goes. Kanibizenu no mateba, kanibizenu no mateba, kanibizenu no mateba, kanibizenu no mateba, hey, kanibizenu no mateba, kanibizenu no mateba, kanibizenu no mateba. So you got it. Practice run, I'm not sure. Someone. Who's got it? Refira, you got it. Quickly. Time is running out. Let's go. Kanibizenu no mateba, angibizelu no mateba, angibizelu no mateba. Okay, we close. Great, so if you are in doubt, please listen to Refilwe. If you don't know what to sing, the direction comes from that way, okay? Don't forget, this is the sign. When I go this, you start singing, okay? Sabela tate Elisa yakala mama Bayapela bantwana Babies me Sabela Are you guys ready? Elisa liape Matem can be senu no mateva 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 Hey mateva Mateva Iliselia pea Can be senu no mateva 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 Iliselia pea Hey mateva Oh yo mateva Hey mateva Yeah Thank you so much. I am Ocean Ndoni and I'm with the Black Notes, the guys who accompany me tonight. Please, congratulations to all the winners and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Colleagues, I think we can just give a round of applause for our entertainment for this evening. It is a privilege for me to announce the award for the most valued professional. So about 3 years ago, we've started with this award specifically to recognize the contribution that academic support professionals and staff have made towards the advancement of learning and teaching at the institution, and to acknowledge the dedication, innovation, and excellence in the support sphere. So for a while, there was a perception that this is only an award for CTL staff, but this year we were privileged to also have academic support staff from the faculties that have entered for this award. And we really want to encourage academic support staff to, in future, to apply for this award, since we work hand in hand with academic staff towards quality and excellence in learning and teaching. So, please applaud the second place winner, Dr. Jacques Mathieu from the Faculty of Law, Bloemfontein campus. And colleagues, the winner for her contribution, not only on an institutional but also on a national level, Hanli Postumus from the Center for Teaching and Learning, Bloemfontein campus. Colleagues, and before I hand over to Francois for the final word of thanks for the evening, I please want to request that we give a hand of applause to Prof. Francois Strydom for his contribution to learning and teaching over the past 10 years. Thank you, Francois.
So, thank you very much for that. What a wonderful evening to be with colleagues and friends. I know my staff are embarrassed with my colored papers. I do not care. It will never be replaced. There's something tactile about it. So my tremendous privilege is to thank everybody that's made the last 10 years and continues to make every single day with us possible. So, firstly, to our faculties, more specifically the teaching and learning managers. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible. It's due to your hard work, and then the tremendous commitment of academic staff, HODs, deans that are always just there. That has made tonight's achievement possible. And then very importantly, the people for whom we do this all the time is our students. I would like you to give that group a hand, because it's all of us. All the applicants and award winners, what a wonderful privilege to see your work. The portfolios that I've been able to evaluate is simply on a completely different level to where CTL started, to where the faculty started their journey and commitment. The reviewers in the categories all of you extremely busy people making time to do the reviews so wonderfully. Prof. Twala, kia leboga ntate Ahulu. What a wonderful program director. Dr. Engela van Staden, for your welcoming address, for your continued support for me and the team. Thank you so very much. Yeah, very true. Prof. Peterson, a truly rare Vice-Chancellor. I can say in my career, it's a rare privilege because of the, so thank you for continuing to support us. Bill, for taking a chance on the University of the Free State. When he came to us, to this university, I had just presented to Lumina Foundation in Indiana, one of the most influential. And Sam Cargyle is an African-American colleague that, believe it or not, during the early 2000s worked in Kimberley. And when I spoke to him, he said, I know Bloemfontein. And he came to us in 2011, and this university had experienced a very low point. If that's not visionary leadership, I don't know what is. Please give Bill a hand. Norma, thank you for announcing the Kutata winners, for giving the venue that we could make the videos of our wonderful students. Thank you very much for that. Then my management team, the ones that announced the awards, Evodia, Mokhwanyane, Dr. Sonia Loots, Gugutiro Yobone, Dr. Eleanor Bernard, and then Tiana van der Merwe. To our entertainers, the Odeon String Quartet for the lovely music you made while we arrived, our inspiring South Campus choir. I've never seen a member of top management sing so much, Martin. It was beautiful to see. Anton Estreisen and his group. And then Ocean Indoni, which I know as Larato Mokati, coordinator of tutorials in health sciences and theology. And I'm very glad to say that I'm providing the foundational income for a future superstar. Then to our Star Sound colleagues, thank you so much for a very professional evening. Video and live streaming by Roy Stoel and the UFS ICT team. Decor by Bowtie Evolutions, catering by Montebello Caterers. Then a special word of thanks, and I would like you to give a very warm applause to them. To Tiana van der Merwe, who's put this together, led it. The graphic designers and multimedia team, some of them are taking photographs. One of them is sick while she is taking photographs. Inspiring staff. And then the ALSCD team, which is now part of BLISS, the Blended Learning Innovation and Student Support Team. I want to name them Dalian, Tuto, Corrine, Casey, Peter, and Eleanor. Please give them a hand of applause. From me, humbling privilege to be able to work with all of you for the time since 2006, since I've been back. since 2011 in CTL. Thank you so much. The evening we've been extremely efficient with time because we want to spend some more time with you in terms of some coffee and chocolates. But I'll hand over to our chief in charge, Morena.
Thank you very much, Professor Strijdom. Colleagues, Dr. Van Staden, Prof. Peterson, Mr. Moses, Prof. Strijdom, can you please, after the dissolution of this congregation, stay behind for a photo with the award winners on the stage. Perhaps I might join. For all other people and award winners, you can also go outside for photos, and I don't know who's going to pay for that. One thing that I know that we can pay for is a free coffee and tea outside after our function, while the group by Anton or by Helrich is performing for us. Thank you very much, colleagues, for listening to me. And then I was just waiting for Francois not to thank me in order for me to thank myself. But I'm so disappointed that Francois thanked me. And I just want to leave Francois and the team with a question. I believe in 100%. We are celebrating 10 years. What happened to 90 years? Thank you very much, colleagues, and enjoy. Thank you.
Colleagues, there's a photo booth on the left-hand side, just outside the hallway. So if you want to take photos, please make use. We have the photographers there to capture the evening. And in the corners, there are coffee and tea. Thank you very, very much.